Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Wargame Red Dragon replay cast, and today it is another Reddit 3 vs 3 game, and it is between EuroAsia and the Narwhals, and on the right side we have our Narwhal players, Phrasen Monster, Saberwolf, and Galir, and on the left side we have Team EuroAsia, we have Cameron, Silhadar, and Parake 10. Oh my. That's what I'm going with. Pricka 10. Yeah, that's it. And I know I destroyed your name, and I'm really, really sorry about that, but let's get this going. And we're going to speed this on up to the 10x mark. And see how this goes. And everybody marking where they're going to be going. And just a frenzy of marking so far. And we're going to see what units go where. And we'll see what happens. And here we go. Now I'm going to speed it on back down to 1x. Some jets flying overhead, checking out the area here, and both sides a little clustered still. Can't really tell which way is which. And let's see, we have Parake 10. Moving over to the left side here with Chaparral. We have Rise Patton's M1, so lots of armor moving over to the left side where it's quite open. So indeed, armor is a good idea here where it's nice and open. So you're going to need a lot of AA and a lot of armor to take anything out that tries to push across that way. And for the opposite, we have lots of troops moving over this way. So we'll see how that works against the armor. And if they can get to the woods along with the armor, they should do pretty well. But if they get there a little bit late, that's going to be a problem because the armor will tear up all of those APCs pretty quickly. Looks like he's going to try and put some troops in here. And we have MI8s flying overhead. And you're going to try and take out some of this armor here if they get the opportunity. Meanwhile, on the left side here, some BRDMs moving over to the left, trying to get in between this area and get to Echo there. And for our Blue 14, lots of troops moving over to the right side here, trying to get to Echo as soon as possible and into Delta. And it looks like he's streaking, hauling ass across the fields now, trying to get into that town. And as for the center, already been taken here by Silhadar. And dropping off troops as we speak into the towns, spreading them out quite a bit here. Scout now moving over, probably spots everything that's in here for our blue player here, moving on in. Tornado flying overhead. And nothing really to attack just yet. No radar. The Tunguska, of course, is turned off as usual. And Charlie now been captured, can bring in land units there. And with Juliet bringing in land units there, a little bit closer. And now the battle for Echo. We'll see who can take that first. And neither side really bringing a CV just yet. We have a CEV now moving in to the area. Big battle going on in the town. We have Jaegers, Canadian Airborne against Pekhota and Spetsnaz here. We have some Conkers here, but they're getting wrecked up pretty quickly here. Some anti-tank Conkers, but they're in the wrong place right now. Canadian Airborne just totally covering this whole area. Here comes some cluster bombs, just peppering up the whole area there. Took out quite a bit there. And Jaeger's pushing forward, Canadian Airborne pushing forward, and looks like Blue 4 may take control of Delta here, as they are just swarming in on this area with lots of Canadian Airborne and those Jaegers. And on the left side here, all of that armor has been parked in Gulf by our blue player here. And as you can see, the Rise Patton, the M1 IP, and we have an M1A2 on this side here, and we have some Bradleys as well. And they do have those Stay-Close missiles they can launch at armored vehicles. We have a Chaparral here, Chaparral in the back as well for some air, and pretty much equal for the red player here. T80 UM, T64 BV firing away on the flank side there, trying to shoot at the Abrams. And Pekhota is here to stop anything from moving in. So right now, just a battle of attrition. And let's see whose tanks win over here. M1 IP is lost. And center, nobody really bothering with Foxtrot just yet. Lots of Spetsnaz have been just peppered up all over this town here in the center. And the battle for Delta continues. And Leopard Chaparral's on the back here. Wolverine's all the way in the back as well. And Canadian Airborne holding out pretty well. Looks like all the Jaegers have fallen. Just 13 over here. Look, earlier there were a couple. And Bison's back here just firing away at troops as well. 4 of them just eating up troops. And it's fortunate that they stay alive. Here comes the Su-24 dropping on the town, and Jaegers take the brunt of that. Down to one man in that squad there. And Wolverines were gonna fire javelins, but unfortunately they only have just under 2,000 meters, so they might have fired at that, but I don't think they took that down. That SU. We have the Red Fort pushing down on the right side here. Has a decent defense along through here. All those BRDMs gonna eat up that Bison pretty much instantly. Canadian Airborne have been released and now are pretty much out in the open and gonna lose out on that one. Back at Gulf here, looks like Red Fort has successfully taken out the majority of the troops here, and Chaparral now in a little bit of trouble trying to back up as soon as possible. M1A2 Abrams stuck all the way back here, and also putting some Bradleys there as well to prepare for his loss in here. Cavalry scouts just chilling in the center of the woods here. Do have Dragon missiles, but those take quite a while to actually fire off, and they're pretty inaccurate too. But the cavalry scouts are very, very, very cheap. And now battling, as you can see, he's going to try and fire that dragon at something there. Takes out one thing, and we have a Bradley all the way back here as well, but no match really for the T-64 and all this stuff coming forward. T-64 takes a shot there from the M1A2, and T-64 now launching a missile. Gonna miss though. And back in the center, still a pretty much a standstill in the center there. Nobody's really going to be able to push forward just yet. Now, a couple T-72 B1s, BRDMs here in the end. And Leopard's taking out some troops that are moving forward there. And Blue Fort did successfully take over this town here. Canadian Airborne all successful. And need to bring up a supply vehicle. I'd like to see one moving up as soon as possible. A supply vehicle right here would be really nice to get all these Canadian Airborne back into action and reinforced. Meanwhile, defense has been called here on this wood line as the Red Fort has successfully taken Gulf. Our Blue Fort team, though, does have a +2 advantage so far and is currently slightly losing the game, but they did take over just a little bit here. So Team EuroAsia has taken over. It will surpass the Narwhals pretty quickly here. So pretty even game just yet. M1IP pushing forward, and unfortunately too far of a range here to battle it out with each other. So it's going to be very difficult for the blue team to actually take Gulf back, and I need to bomb that out first, or lay some smoke along through there to cover the movement all the way through there. Either that or just overwhelming armor to push up through there. So either way. And we have a lot of Hyundai and VDV trying to move in here. Pagoda's trying to move in around this side, and if they can get around to this side here, they can probably move in where those Erics are and just move right in like that and then into the town. But there is so much fire here. BTR moving on in, loaded with troops here, trying to get in. And again, the Canadian Airborne just not enough to sustain this as they're so low on men. So it looks like the Red Fort may take this back here. And now pushing in, took out the remaining Canadian Airborne, just one Jaeger in there. AMX is rolling up here, firing at the Pagodas. Eric's firing away as well. Tunguska in the back, actually completely out of 30 mils there. Longbow overhead now firing away and striking some BTRs, but it's also taking some damage there. Loses that longbow. F-15 now flying overhead and drops all over the town there. Takes out some stuff. Jaeger's now trying to push up through the line here. Jaeger's going to be trying to push up through here, and meanwhile some Bradleys pushing up, loaded up with some troops as well. And here we go, drops off all of his troops there, and just 16 riflemen make it out. Down to 15 riflemen, and trying to make it into the town there, but the Spetsnaz doing pretty big damage there with those napalm strikes. Did a lot of damage to those riflemen. AMX is still firing away here, and actually low on ammo. They've been firing for so long, they're almost out of ammo. And Chaparral now backing up. All kinds of weapons are jammed. Stabilization malfunction. That is one jacked up Chaparral there. And back over here, still unable to really push forward. Attacks have been called. And looks like some riflemen are being pushed forward so that his units can actually spot where they're being fired from. But I don't think that's going to be enough, really. And I think it's really going to have to get bombed out or a lot of smoke before pushing forward here. Or again, just tons of tanks to push through there and take a lot of losses pushing up through there. And Bradley just firing away and is now out completely. But there is a Hemet there that is slowly recharging those Cyclist missiles to be able to fire over and over. And AMX is here almost out, 142 between the two of them. Rifleman made it in, but dealing with VDV and Spetsnaz on this side. Spetsnaz really aren't firing, it's just a VDV right now. And a close battle going on. And lots of troops pouring in here. Lots of A1s, 4 A1s loaded with troops here. Bison also, 2 Bisons here loaded with troops. Canadian Airborne pouring out now into the town. Going to deal with the Spetsnaz here. Fuchs now moving in and going to drop off in the town line here as well. And drops off Jaegers in the town. And now the Riflemen, 40 Riflemen pour out of there. And although Riflemen are pretty weak, 40 of them can get the job done. And Spetsnaz Gru now firing away at that A1G, finishes that off. And still center not happening. Golf not really happening either. Still a +1 advantage for our blue team. Team EuroAsia. What, 188 points to 94. So we had the Narwhals actually had the beginning of the game as red 4 there, but now the blue 4 just have taken over more positions and forced the red 4 out of more positions, if you will, as well. And now the M1IP moving forward, M1A2 moving forward now. And it looks like he might be going for it. And if he is, I'd like to see even more than that. Maybe bring over some AGS, perhaps, if he has them in his deck, and bring those behind the heavy armor there. And then anything that starts to fire on those AGS could take care of them. But we'll see what he decides to do here, and I just don't think it's going to be enough. There's quite a bit in here, especially once he gets towards these VDV here. The VDV with the RPG-29 doing 24 AP power, going to do big damage to him. And pushing forward and going to take out the T-72 perhaps here, and it's going to be close. And for some reason, M1IP is not firing. It looks like it's just out of vision. And now we have a T-80UM pushing forward, and MI8 just peppering up these tanks now. Should just back these out of here. He's going to lose both of these Abrams, and he will definitely lose this one M1IP, but the M1A2 may make it out a little bit more armored there, or rather quite a bit more armored, 17 to 22. I suppose it's a pretty big difference. And MiG-29 now pushing forward, and going to drop, and let's see what it's going to drop at, and looks like he was going for that M1IP. Or perhaps the Abrams, rather, or the A2, and stuns it a little bit. Does a little bit of damage. This Hemet needs to be returned and resupplied. A bunch of Rise patents now moving forward. And the town under siege again. Pekoda's Yunde pushing forward here. Jaegers, Riflemen in the back here. Riflemen split up a little bit. 3 here, 9 there. Canadian Airborne, 11 of them versus Pekoda's, and versus 19. Quite a bit here. And a CEV now firing away. And blasting these Motostrelki and BTRs there with that CEV. And Jaeger's back here trying to hold out too against Spetsnaz Gru. Jaeger's up here as well, trying to hold out against this T-62. And as they just move forward there, might be able to hit that with some anti-tank, and looks like a miss there. And is there any troops moving in? Looks like there are troops moving in now, but they're going to take a while to get there. Patriot is all the way back here. And Tiger moving all the way around the other side, and he may actually get to the CV. If he just keeps a straight path there, he'll actually get to that CV. And where is he going here? Oh, he's not taking the right path, and he could be going right over that CV, and that would hurt him quite a bit there. Although they can still bring in from Charlie, but if they wanted to defend this area, they'd have to come all the way around here, and that would take quite a while either way. And loses that. And now it looks like Red 4 will take over this town for now, by the looks of it. If they can just bring in some more troops here. We have 3 BTRs moving in with some troops. 2 Bisons moving in. 4 Lav Ms moving up. Going to park them somewhere out here and start bombing the town. Meanwhile, over here, M1A2 Abrams survived. But there is no supply. Here comes the Hemet supply now to resupply this area. You need to take that Hemet back and just get that one back too. And some troops over here as well. And we have some Fern Spahers up here on the top of the mountain, just scouting out this whole area here. 15 Jaegers, very low on 84 mils, as they pretty much took out all the tanks in the area there. And now Canadian Airborne have made it back into the town here, and it is looking like Blue 4 is going to take this back over here. Just 4 Pakotas and Bisons firing away on them as well. And another CEV now moving up. And Lavs parked, or there are 6 A2s all the way back here. And where are those Lavs? I did see Lav Ms, yep. And those will be firing shortly as well. So quite a bit of mortar power. They're going to be firing into the back here. They're going to be taking out some Urals. That's about it back here. And a Tunguska too. Pakota's firing away. Just 1 man left in there. Bison moving in. 2 Bisons here with troops and 2 empty Bisons. Attack has been called there, but doesn't look like anybody wants to take that order. Still a +1 advantage for our Blue 4 team, Team EuroAsia. 262 to 294 right now. And Spetsnaz just getting absolutely pummeled. There's so much mortar. The M10s back here and the Lav Ms all just blasting away there. So much mortar power. As you see, like 7 at once here blasting away into the woods. And these Spetsnaz need to just back out of there. Luckily, the blast radius of the mortars aren't too big here, but they're just everywhere. And just pouring in troops here. BTR-80s pouring in troops. T-72 also on the way here. MI2 floating all the way up above the mountain. Seeing everything that's going on. Now Blue 4 has really set in deep into Delta here. And I'd like to see a CV be brought in, as they pretty much kind of own this now. It would be very hard to push them out. It's going to be a challenge indeed. And back here again, we have the troops trying to push forward. And Riflemen were trying to push forward into the town line here. But really wasn't going to happen. Longbow now pushing forward. And it's going to be able to spot something here, possibly that T-80, and launch away. And is that what it is attacking? And that is the look of it. Yep, indeed. Eats 2 of those in a row. That was very nice. And going to fire 2 again, but looks like these 2 are misses. Oh, no, hits a, what was that, a BTR or something? So the longbow doing work back here, and going to back off for now as a Tunguska is being brought up. Rifleman still holding out here in the middle of nowhere, which is quite surprising, firing away. And is ACV being brought up or not? It does not look like that. And our Blue 4 team could get a +3 advantage if they would just bring a CV and hold it. I'd like to see some CV troops. That would be probably a little bit safer to have them in the town there, so they couldn't get bombed out so easily. But even just any old CV could be parked way in the back here and just give an advantage for now. But now the A1G is pushing into the line, and these guys are totally screwed. Probably just scouts at this point. Sacrificial scouts. And the VDVs and the T-72 eat them up. And Lav Scout pushing forward here. And mortars just coming down again. So many mortars and napalm. This is unbelievable. This wood line is like total hell right now. And these troops are just getting mangled. And this whole area here is pretty much off limits. All the troops backing up this way. And so at this point, you could pretty much just fire right here, and you know that you would have to be hitting something because of all those troops there had to back out either way. So it could be fired here or here. A1G pushing around the side here and going to go after BTR-70s that haven't unloaded yet. BTR-60P firing away as well. Spots everything going on there. Jaeger's now pushing forward. Jaeger's pushing forward in the center here. Rangers taking the place. Martyr pushing up as well. Meanwhile, still nothing really going on here. Looks like the Blue 4 has totally lost it in here and has just gotten bombed out completely. And looks like some VDV are now pushing in, but nothing really too special as they already have Gulf, so they can pretty much remain there, and it's not too big of a deal. But right now the main battle is over Delta, and if our Red 4 team, if the Narwhals can take Delta back, that would give them a +1 advantage. And also Echo still completely untaken as well, and I'd like to see this Fuchs be dropping off an Echo. That would be decent. That would probably be the safest bet. You could get the +1 advantage for Echo the safe way, or +2 from Delta, which would be the slightly less safe way. Although I don't really know what at this point it's going to really actually take anything out all the way back here, because he is very, very, very busy all the way back here, and the smoke line has been generated here so that all these forces can be pushed up. And Pekyota's, eating direct mortars here. And there's a group right here, and if they hit right here, it's going to take down the numbers quite a bit. And just eating up that whole squad there. They are combined, so if they could just split up a little bit and then split up, that would be a little bit helpful. Nona's now firing at the Blue 4 team, but it doesn't look like they are too effective right now. Looks like he's firing directly at the labs and missing entirely as the labs already moved. MiG flying overhead takes out some stuff there. Lots of Bisons here. What is that, like 5 Bisons here just firing away. 7.62s. And just blasting away here. And it looks like Blue 4 is totally engaged, has sunk in this area, and now even pushing into the wood line. So now the Red 4 has really nothing left. As soon as this wood line gets totally taken over, the Red 4 will have nothing left to defend this area. They'll pretty much have to defend it from here, which is just even further away from his goal of taking Delta, of their goal of taking Delta. And now Bison's pushing forward as ye ol' scout units, and they're doing work though, and getting killed pretty quickly. But when they die, they certainly show what happened. Them Su-24 now flying overhead and dropping on the area here. Is it going to hit anything? No, hits absolutely nothing. It's a bump landing here on the CEV, and taking that, almost took it out at only 2 left. 2 points of damage left, that is. And it looks like Red 4 has actually pushed him back a little bit here. And Pekyota's pushing forward. Lots of Pekyotas in this wood line, and BRDMs, BTR-80s. But the Blue 4 has spread out pretty well here, all the way around to be able to fire on this flank side here. And a +3 advantage now for our Blue 4 team. As he did take over Delta, giving him that an extra +2, which gives them a +3 advantage. Or they had the choice to take over Echo, which would give them a +2 advantage. But the Furong's group here in the center here, this is exactly where I kind of said that to put a CB is just to put it right here, right in the town where it would be the most safe. Some F5s now coming overhead. And dropping away here right on the Canadian Airborne. And, they are burning now. And another one going to be dropped right next to that one. So quite a bit of fire here. And just going to push these Canadian Airborne out. Not going to be too big of a deal. Going to lose a few of them. And this side still being pretty... neither side really being able to push forward. The red side doesn't need to push forward. Blue 4 can't push forward as well. And needs quite a bit more than this. Has some Abrams up there, but not really going to be able to do it. The real meat and cheese is over here. CEV now battling out here with a BTR-90 and taking some shots there from the 30 mil frags, and the firing computer has been reset. So now manual fire, but stunned that with that CEV HE power. Longbow now firing away here. Looks like going to hit that BTR, finishes that BTR off. And this BTR-90 is not going to make it. That firing computer and the stabilization is now off, so it's completely messed up. It's one jacked up CEV here. And it's going to be kind of interesting to watch this battle. Oh, and the frags going all over the place. That's actually kind of a cool angle. If there wasn't all this goofy stuff. And that CEV almost had it. And our winner of the game here is EuroAsia. Pretty good game. Both sides fought pretty well there. Actually, the Narwhals had the beginning of the game, but then somehow lost it along the way. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and I will see you guys next time.